This week's inspiration comes from the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Robin, and in today's video, like the title says, you guessed it, it's my very first story time. And this one is going to be about my breast cancer scare. Yeah, but before we get started, I'm gonna ask you guys to go on down below, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notification, and guys, I'm also gonna ask you to especially share this video so that it reaches everyone, as many people, especially women, as it can reach, so that they are both encouraged and blessed. Whew. Now let's jump right into it, y'all. Video, it's not going to be long, but it may be all over the place. However, it's my intention that this is a very structured video because it has just two simple purposes, only two. The first one is to, as women, to encourage us to be on top of our health, especially our breast. Two is stress the importance of developing a relationship with Christ. Now, I do understand that religion is a very sensitive topic and not everyone is interested to talk about it. My job is not to force or shove religion down anyone's throat. I've said it countless times in all of my videos. My only job as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, is to plant the seed or make the suggestion and allow the Spirit of God to do the rest. However, if you're not interested in the religious part of it, I'm going to make sure I put timestamps for the video so that you can just skip past that and you can learn about when I had my scare, when I discovered my lump, and the process and things like that, so that you are getting the educational bit. But as for me in my house, we will praise the Lord. Okay. Now, with that being said, let's just jump right into it. It was a Tuesday night in July of this very year. Now, before we even go into the story time and when I discovered the lump, I do want to show you that I'm coming especially with my hospital band because I'm just coming fresh from doing my biopsy, and I do have some bandages on still as well from when I did my biopsy, so that you know that this video is hot off the press from me leaving the women's center where my breast was biopsied. It was a Tuesday night, closer to the end of July, might have been the beginning of August, and I went to take a shower. While I was in the shower, I discovered like the front of my nipple kind of came together in a really weird way, and then it culminated in a lump. Guys, immediately I froze. I was like, no, what is this? I started to cry. My mind started, it was crazy. It was the scariest time. Now, mind you, July was already a stressful month because my aunt had recently passed away of cancer, and it was already like tensions were high, to say the least. It was not the right time. Like, no time is ever the right time to discover a lump, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. I mean, I think I've already said to you guys in this video right here that I was also dealing with the death of a childhood friend, my grandmother, my aunt, and to say it was timing could have been worse, that's the biggest understatement you've ever heard. The timing could not have been worse for me to discover this lump on my breast that night. I froze, guys. I did not know what to think. As you could imagine, the shower was over at that point. Like, I quickly wrapped up the shower, I went outside, I prayed, and I tried my best to go to sleep. Sleep was a struggle. Eventually, fast forward the next morning, I woke up and I checked, and it was still there. However, at this point, it was not the same size. It didn't look, nothing about it was the same the next morning, which again was pretty strange. But okay, there's still a lump. I don't know anything about this. I've never experienced this before, so this was foreign, and we all know what the first sign of a lump signifies. So I was terrified. The next day, I told my husband and I told my best friend, and we struggled to get me to a doctor. Now, everyone knows what's happening in the world right now. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Walk-ins are closed. They're at capacity. No doctors are available. It's the worst time to discover. Like I said before, it is, timing could not have been worse. So it took me, I want to say, like a week before I could be seen by anyone. So what I ended up doing was calling 811. Now 811 is where you would call in Canada to get to like describe your symptoms or anything that's happening, and they would then suggest what to do, if to go to the emergency or things like that. My best friend suggested that 811 is her one-stop shop for any health related issues, and she basically swears by them. When I called, them too were at capacity, so they offered a callback. Once I described what was happening, I immediately got a call back. Well, not immediately, but it took like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, I want to say. I described what was happening, and the lady was like, wow. The tricky thing about lumps is you never know. The only way to know is to get checked out, to have it seen, to get seen. She suggested that within the next week or so, try to get to, even if it's a walk-in, so that you can be examined by a doctor, and then they will determine sort of next steps. I ended up going to a walk-in, and it was Saturday morning. And I remember by this time though, like a week had gone by, and I would feel it every second, like I'm always touching myself. Once I get there, I do need to say it kept getting smaller. It was moving, which they say if it's soft and it's movable, that's always a good sign. So, but I'm not a doctor. If you do discover a lump and it's soft and it's moving, don't panic. That's a good sign, but still get it checked out. I went. I explained to him that the reason for my visit and what was happening, and that it was small and it was tiny because it took him a really long time for him to discover it. When he found it, I was kind of looking at his face, trying to see if I could read him, because guys, when I tell you that I was freaking out, like I was a mess inside. I was panicking so bad.
Something special, can't take that from me.